I reject 90% of the commission requests I receive as an artist and a seamstress because there are 10 reasons you should not accept commission. The number one reason you should not accept commission is that you won't get paid, because people will do everything they can to avoid paying you for your hard work. Anyone who's heard the phrase, "I will pay you next week," knows it means you will never see the money. Once you deliver goods to a client, there is no guarantee they will pay you after, even if it's somebody you see every day, like a coworker or family member. I once hacked a t-shirt for a coworker I saw every day in exchange for a lunch. And that "I'll pay you next week" turned into "I'll pay you next month." And that turned into a pandemic, and I never saw her or that lunch again. But if your work is worth more than a lunch, you need to guarantee at least half down in payment before you start working on a commission, so that you guarantee you will get paid at least for the materials. And the only thing you're going to lose is your time. And that brings me to the second reason you should not take a commission, and that's because people don't value your time. Plenty of people will be willing to pay you for a product you offer, but they will not be willing to pay you for the time it took you to make it. People will offer me $20 for a pair of homemade gloves, and that does cover cost of materials, but if you factor in minimum wage for the whole day that it takes me to make them, it is not worth it. And if I tell someone that it will cost them $80 to $100 for me to crochet them a pair of gloves, they don't want to buy it anymore. And that's because people don't value the time it takes to make something. So factor in a monetary value to your time when you accept a commission, because you cannot expect your clients to offer a reasonable amount. The third reason you shouldn't take a commission is if you're unable to deliver the goods. Whether you do not possess the skills to complete a project, or the client has a bad idea that won't translate well to your medium, it is your responsibility to make sure you can deliver the goods before you accept a commission. The first time I accepted a commission to make a piece of clothing for someone, I felt bad taking her money because it was a little bit too tight on her for her preference. And situations like that can be really bad for you, especially if you're not friends with your client, because you're gonna waste a lot of money redoing the project until you get it right. So if you're not confident that you can deliver the goods a customer is asking for, then make sure you either learn the necessary skills to complete the project before you start it, or make sure the customer understands the repercussions if it doesn't work out. But sometimes you will be able to deliver the goods, just not in the specific time frame the customer wants. And that's the third reason you should not take a commission, is if you don't have enough time to complete it. It's really easy to tell somebody no if you know you won't be able to meet their time period, but there are a lot of industries, such as the wedding industry, where you will receive unexpected rushes on your orders. When my aunt took on a commission to make a wedding veil and bouquets for a family friend, she thought she had several months to do it. But when the bride called a month early and said, "I need this by the end of the weekend," she started panicking. And fortunately, she had me to come over and hand tack lace onto a wedding veil for 12 hours. But you won't always be able to phone a friend during these situations. So it's important that you come up with a backup plan in case you don't have enough time to finish a commissioned project. The fifth reason you should not accept a commission is if you feel pressured to take it. A lot of people can be very demanding that you make them a project when they find out you have a creative skill. And it can be very difficult to say no to these people, especially if they're family, friends, or coworkers that you see every day. I had a coworker who wanted me to make a skirt for her after I hemmed up a pair of pants, but I kept putting it off because I knew I would have to charge her a lot more than the $10 I charged her to hem her pants up. And you know what happened? A few months later, she found the skirt she wanted on sale for $10, and I didn't have to waste any of my time and money on it. So when someone is pressuring you to take a commission that you don't want to take, just remind them that they have other options. And it is okay to say no to people, so learn to say no. Number 6, you will never be good enough. For other people, that is. Even if you pour your heart and soul into every project you make, some people will just not be happy with what you've made them. And not only is it extremely frustrating to have to make something again over and over, but it's also very costly. My husband has ran into this problem as a web developer too. There's one company in particular that he worked with that really stands out because they constantly had him changing things after he fixed them. And unfortunately, he didn't follow rule number 1, which is to collect payment up front. So he kept having to fix things and change them before he got paid. So if you run into a difficult client to work with, just remember that it is a-okay to tell your client that they only get one free remake. The 7th reason you should not take commission is that you don't value your own work. This is generally a problem that people who are new to commission experience because they don't know how much they should charge for their own work. Or they don't view their own work as worth what somebody else is willing to pay for it. I definitely qualify under this category because I give way too many paintings away for free. I even had a legitimate offer on a painting I made in high school that I eventually gave to my aunt and uncle because I thought it looked nice on their wall. So if you want to start taking commission, learn your worth and learn proper negotiating skills so you don't screw yourself over. The 8th reason you should not accept a commission is that business and pleasure don't mix. You will not enjoy every commission you take, even if it starts out as a hobby. One of the first ever commissions I took was to create a tattoo design for a girl I went to high school with. And she wanted this really small tattoo design of Disney characters, and it was really, really boring for me, and I did not enjoy it at all. And in a way, I'm glad this was one of the first few commissions I took on because it helped me understand that I want to keep my hobbies separate from business. But if you do want to turn your hobby into a business, then make sure you set time aside for yourself to enjoy your hobby so that you don't lose your enjoyment with it from all the bad commissions you have to take. The 9th reason you should not accept commission is that you're too sentimental. If you put a lot of work and passion into making something, it can be really hard to let it go. And some people are just too sentimental to take on commission. I love making things, and I like to make things that other people give me an idea for as well. But sometimes it is really hard for me to give stuff up, even if somebody's willing to pay me for it. And I think that's pretty evident with all the little knickknacks I make that I never want to sell. But if you're extremely sentimental and you still want to earn commission, you might need to give yourself a little exposure therapy. The more projects you make and part with, the easier it will be to do in the future. Number 10, the final reason you should not take on commission is if you're not an entrepreneur. It takes most people a long time to build up a business with steady commission work, and not everybody is cut out for that instability. If you don't work well under pressure and you really need financial stability, sometimes it's not good for you to take on commission projects. And there are other ways to get your creativity and your work out there. And if you find yourself in that situation, the best thing to do is to come up with a business plan. or a hobby plan like I did. You may find that you want to work for another company that is already established, or you might want to reserve the commissions you take on for people that you're close with so that you don't have to spread yourself too thin. Or you can make a YouTube channel like I did so you can share your art with the world without making it a business. That said, I would greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel so I can help inspire your creativity. Please leave a like on this video if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below about your commission experiences. My name is Christine, and I will see you next week.